In today's solo episode, I am going to share a bit around intuition. When I was arriving at what the topic was going to be, I actually was on my morning walk with my husband and just asked him, "What would you like to learn more about? What would you like to hear?" And right away, he said intuition. He didn't even skip a beat. And I just thought, this is perfect. This is something that I have personally been honing myself, really connecting deeper, listening and attuning more to my intuition the past 12 years, and really educating myself and working with other guides that can teach me more how to connect deeper to my intuition. And I can speak from my husband's perspective. He knew when he met me that I am extremely sensitive. My emotions are always present, and he's used to kind of riding the waves. And as I've done my own deeper work with bringing in emotional regulation, understanding that these sensitivities that I had been feeling and actually resisting or building different types of armor because I wasn't clear, or I really discredited my sensitivities. Once I shifted and learned to connect deeper into my authenticity and to really lean into my sensitivities, I realized they were a gift. And part of that is absolutely connecting deeper to my intuition. So that's what today's solo episode will be about. I'm also going to share at the end some journal prompts that can help you connect and become more curious with your intuition. And then I'll also offer a guided meditation that will allow you to feel your intuition through breath, through presence, through connecting through your heart. So thank you for tuning in, and let's begin. I would like to ask, and just take a moment for you to feel into, how does intuition feel for you? Does it feel familiar? Are you curious about intuition? Does it feel completely foreign? Or maybe you easily brush it off? There's not a right or wrong answer here. This is just offering an opportunity to get curious around how your relationship is with your own intuition. These are the threads that bring you to arrival of actually connecting to your intuition. Curiosity, an open heart, tuning into this right now is creating the sensations and the openness for your intuition to come through. So for me, when I was younger, I absolutely can remember being very connected to my intuition. But I believe as children, that is when we are most connected to our intuition. And as we get older and through different environments and school systems, we are really building our mental intelligence. And that's a beautiful thing, but our intuition doesn't reside within our mind. Our intuition is within our body. I believe the portal comes through our heart. A lot of somatic work and practices, which is body work, allows you to get more in tune with your body so you can actually feel into the intuition more, what's arriving for you, whether it's through goosebumps or butterflies in your belly, or even saying, I have this gut feeling. That's more of a common term that is used. My gut's telling me no. My gut's telling me yes. if that sounds familiar to you, that's your intuition. This is how it arrives. It's within the body. So as we're conditioned more and building our mental intelligence through our adolescent years and adult years, quite often we're tuning out and turning down the ability to connect to our intuition. I don't believe that's intentional. It's just there needs to be a balance between our mental intelligence, our emotional intelligence, and our heart intelligence. So bringing in harmony with all of those will allow more fluidity, more authenticity to come through, and deeper understanding of when we can trust those visceral gut feelings, aka intuition. So as I noticed, I lost that beautiful relationship that I had with my intuition as a young, creative, expressive, emotional child. And I grew into my teens and started really armoring up and turning off a lot of these sensitivities and ways where I not only felt things, but I could see things. I noticed I really became more disconnected from who I was authentically. I was really working on how to show up externally and receive validation that way versus validating self, validating within and my own gifts. So this has been a really incredible process of losing my way and finding my way back home to self, home to my authenticity, to my unique gifts, to my intuitive ways of being. So for you, if you notice that you have certain body sensations when you're in a conversation or you walk into a room, or maybe something is shown to you, maybe you see a flash of what for me visually can almost look like a photo or a movie. There are a lot of different ways that our intuition will show up for each of us, and you can choose which that you want to lean into more. And I think in today's episode, we'll really speak into the body, intuitive ways. And I'll come up with another episode speaking of more around visionary and what comes through in that way. But speaking through our body, because I believe this is something that we all can relate to, that gut visceral feeling, the gut yes or the gut no. So this arrives for us to really tap into our innate gifts of being human and gets us back into our roots from generationally to where we often navigated our life and our relationships and living through our intuitive ways. So we can speak to mothers, how they have their motherly intuition. Absolutely. It is this beautiful, natural way that you can feel and sense when there is something that is presenting with your child, whether it's in the infancy stage, toddler stage, adolescent stage, or adult. My mom still knows when something is arriving for me, even if I'm not ready to share with her what it is. She checks in. That's her motherly intuition. If you have noticed when you are in conversation or you're in an environment and you're feeling some sort of sensation, you can allow yourself to get deeper into that, to trust that this is your intuition. Now, it takes a little bit of time to weed through what is presenting, making sure it's not our mind telling us some story that we're feeling something, but it's quieting the mind, arriving open and present, and trusting the flow of that process. Now, if you're feeling danger or something doesn't feel aligned with your energy, this is also a way that you can hone and honor your intuition and trust those gut yeses or nos. So when you're going into a conversation, or if you're in a conversation and you're not feeling heard, or you're feeling as if it's time to end, trust that. And intuition teaches us boundaries. This is also something that is essential for us with our self-honoring and evolving and really be able to become self-reflective. We have to notice where our boundaries are when we are in relationship with other and even in work. Again, this is all the ways that intuition teaches us how to arrive with really integral, authentic boundaries. So these are just the ways, the little nudges that arrive through the intuitive whispers, the intuitive guidance that presents. I started tuning back into my intuition in my 30s. After tuning it out, I probably stopped around 12 years old and started bringing it back into practice and testing and trusting. Not testing my intuition like you're right or wrong, but testing it when I would receive what was intuitively coming through and actually speaking it out loud. One example I had was with my husband. He was having a scenario that was arriving at work, and it had happened a few weeks prior. And we were out on our walk, and I had a really strong intuitive hit that came through that what had happened 2 weeks ago was going to arrive for him that day. And it was more of a potential conflict situation. It wasn't something he was bringing on. It was something from one of his clients' partners. And I felt it. And I actually saw a vision of someone coming into his salon and confronting him. And so this wasn't to bring forward fear. This wasn't to bring forward really anything other than it just came through my body. And I often find my intuition really is alive when I am in nature and when I'm moving my body. I've noticed myself often say, I've been on a walk, and then this came through. So my guidance was coming through for me was less about that conflict was about to arrive. It was to give him the tools to not react, to be non-reactive. Because what additionally came through for me was that this person was coming for not only conflict, but for reactivity. It was something to create disharmony. And what's really powerful is when how we choose to arrive with other, not being reactive when someone else is being reactive. And so that's all I had for him. I was like, I have no idea if this is actually going to happen, but I just feel that this could. And if it does, just make sure to be calm and to have a plan, whether that's asking them to leave, or what is your plan A, plan B, and plan C? Just so you have a support system in place. So as this individual is actually coming at you and trying to get a reactive moment, to make sure you're staying in your own lane, that you are staying disconnected from that energy from the other person, and you rise above and you just disconnect from it. And that was it. That day, it did arrive. It did happen. So I would say that was probably the first time, not first time, but that was the biggest one where I'm like, all right, I trust you, intuition. Yeah, yeah, I trust you. And from then on, I now have, when I receive information that comes through, sometimes it's just a yes or a no. Sometimes, as I mentioned, it comes through differently for everyone. But for me, I am seeing more visually. The more I've been honing this from 30 and I'm now 45, I've noticed it gets stronger and stronger. And I will either journal when I'm receiving intuitive guidance, um, giving it place to exist. So it's not just something that I'm feeling within and then dismissing it. So journaling and writing it down just helps bring in clarity and affirmation around what's coming through, and also speaking it out loud to someone that is trustworthy, someone that's really not going to discount it, right? I mean, it's not going to be like, yeah, whatever. My husband had been used to me telling him that I'm feeling this, I'm sensitive with this. And I actually had been practicing with one of my amazing soul guides. Her name is Elisa Romeo. She will be on one of our YouTube episodes, absolutely. But she really helped me tune back into my higher self, my soul, my intuitive ways, empathic gifts. And so I've been utilizing practices and sharing with my husband. So he was really familiar with it. To him, it wasn't like, you know, she doesn't know what she's talking about or she's lost her cookies. He's like, all right. He just kind of let me flow with whatever was arriving. So share it within a safe place, whether that's your best friend, that is your mother or a guide, someone you're working with. This helps give your intuitive guidance space to be acknowledged, space to be witnessed. And then I always kind of have this, when I do share, I also say, I have no idea if this is true or not true, but this is what's arriving for me today. So it doesn't mean that this is some sort of psychic download that I'm having and that I am proclaiming that I am receiving something beyond anyone else. We all embody intuition. We all have the ability to connect and have a relationship and a conversation and deeper awareness and attunement with our intuition. But deciphering what information is coming through, this is what I have noticed, whether it's arriving now or it's something that is presenting 6 months from now or a year from now. So that is where I am in continual practice. I do find myself having clarity around certain things, like that example I gave you that was arriving for my husband. It can be really clear and pinpointed. I think I told him it's either today or sometime this week. And then I'll have other intuitive guidance just for my own personal work, whether I'm working towards a goal or I'm adding additional things into my business or just deepening my relationship with self and up-leveling my internal communication. I can write and journal about that and receive it, but I feel that there's no timeline with it. That will just arrive within the next year. And I can have additional guidance that comes through around that. So I think that's something that's really good to know. There are moments when we can feel really clear with our intuition and we can speak to it, we can acknowledge it. And then there are moments where it might feel like this gentle little whisper, like a little feather gracing across your neck. And it's so subtle. And that's when I have found those are the most potent intuitive hits that are building blocks to something that's arriving, something that's asking to be more in tune with in the day to day. So it's not necessarily, here is what's going to happen. It's more of, these are the subtleties for you to notice in your day to day life to bring more into practice, whether it's breath, meditation, walking, A lot of times I'll receive intuitive guidance around what it is that I need for self when I'm in dysregulation or if I'm energetically taxed. So I hope this arrives with something. I hope this is landing. I will also say I have arrived with this conversation fully intuitively without any intention other than my husband saying, I think you should share about intuition. So, yeah, and to share a little bit about how I see this have this really beautiful domino effect is my clients that I work one-on-one with are connecting deeper to their intuition. They're able to see a little bit more clear and to really build that trust muscle within self to tune in through their heart and to feel what's coming through. When the mind gets so busy and right, life is busy and our mind it's trying to process map through it. It's trying to give us solutions. So when we feel that the mind is in rumination, quiet that down. Feel into your heart. Bring in breath. That's where your intuition lies. So this has been my journey with connecting deeper and attuning to my intuition, building a stronger trust muscle with it. And as I've worked with clients, I also have friends and family who have either already are deeply innately connected and they're teaching and guiding me, which is incredible, or someone like my husband who is wonderfully grounded and driven, and he is just this rock in my life. He has found a lot more curiosity through intuition. I believe for him just being in relationship with me. It's just kind of this natural thread that's arrived that's brought in curiosity for him. And with that, he also is tuning into his intuition. And it's really incredible to hear him speak to his intuition, to validate it, to acknowledge that it does exist, and through the practice of quieting the mind and breath and connecting deeper into your heart, into your body, and understanding what is arriving, and to see him do that. I would say just within this past year, he's 51 now. So I would say from 50 to 51, it just was a calling for him. And he just chose to practice simple little practices and test it, acknowledge what he was feeling, what came through, and he would share it with me. And lo and behold, he might come home from his workday and what he thought was arriving would come through, or what was arriving for him in relationships with others and what he is cultivating. I mean, it's really beautiful to see this strong, masculine, grounded man also soften and be open to these intuitive pathways that are within all of us. So, all right, that's the intro into intuition, and I believe more will be to come. For now, I will include the journal prompts, and we're going to drop into meditation for intentionality with connecting deeper to your intuition. So, when you're ready, arrive in a comfortable seat. I will preface this. If you are listening to this and you are in the car, push pause. And when you get to your destination in a place that feels good for you, then drop into this meditation. Otherwise, if you're watching this from home or if you're out on a hike, find a comfortable seat in a place that feels really nice and quiet and supportive for you. Okay. When you find that comfortable seat, shake out any energy that is arriving. You can shake your hands, your arms, your shoulders, These are all ways that just allows the energy to open up in our body. Now, you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels most supportive for you. You can allow your hands to rest on your legs, palms up or down, or I like to put one hand on my heart, one hand on my belly. We're going to begin now with 3 breaths in and out. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Second one. Inhale with presence and exhale. Last one. Whatever sensations are arriving, inhale with acknowledgement of intuition. And exhale. Bring in normal breath. Now I'm going to ask for you to quiet everything down. If the mind has chatter, if you're noticing external noises around you, just tune it out. Do one more breath. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale through the mouth. As we're sitting in this quiet, calm, supported and safe place, notice if you're receiving any body sensations. If you're feeling energy that's moving through any parts within the body, this is just allowing us to attune deeper into what is present within. With honoring of oneself, with the support of what is beyond us, protection with light and love. We take a moment to see if anything's arriving intuitively. Is there any messages? Are you hearing a word? Are you seeing a photo, a scenario? Take a moment and be with that. Not to understand it, just allow it to be whatever it is that's presenting. Take as much time as you need in this quiet, calm, and regulated state, allowing your heart to be the pathway that allows for the intuitive guidance to communicate with love and reverence. Our innate intuitive guidance doesn't always have to make sense. That's why it's important that we write down we simply acknowledge it with self and just allow it to be what it is, these beautiful droplets of guidance that are here for us to receive whenever we are ready. If there is clarity that comes through this meditation, honor that. If it is simply meeting your intuition for the first time, the subtle sensations, the soft whispers, give acknowledgement and reverence to you and your intuition. As we come out of this meditation, I do recommend having a journal nearby, or you can even use your phone, and you can write in your notes what came through with this. What did you feel? If it's simple sensations of peace and calm, acknowledge that, because you brought this in. You chose to connect to self, to your body. You chose to quiet the mind and arrive in deeper relationship through your heart with your intuition. Let's do one last breath. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale through the mouth. With hands in prayer, if that feels supportive for you. Thank you for dropping into this guided meditation, arriving with curiosity and presence. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Take a moment to really honor yourself. This is it. This is the practice. I mean, there's numerous practices, but this is one of the things that you can do that will bring you deeper in relationship to self, to intuition. Feel free to share in the comments if anything came through for you. This is always a safe space with me. So, if I am the one to be of witness and receive, I am honored to do so. Or if you have a loved one, a friend, a family member, share with them what came through. And absolutely, you can always journal. And this is also validation. Thank you so much for tuning in and arriving. And we will be back. I will be back. I will have more guests on too, but there will be more solo episodes around intuition. And if there's anything that you're curious about, also share. I would love to hear from you. This is a open space where I am happy to share what guidance and knowledge that I have, and also bring on additional guests that can pique your interest and curiosity.